He's had a weekend to forget, and he'll just want to see this day out. But besides that, yeah, I think everybody's sort of okay. Nothing much to report. It was just looking at that second row there, Paul Neal, when he was buzzing yesterday with his two fourth places, I believe it was.
Yeah,
no,
good result.
There's a gap in the middle there between Calvin Hogan and Derek Cripps. That's where Mark Haig would have been.
Yeah.
Well, we are underway.
So he's still got problems.
Unfortunately, is.
Calvin Hogan showed me a picture of what his bike looked like a couple of months ago as well. It was a proper shed find. They didn't had to cut down trees.
Oh, there's Mark. Out of the pit lane now, sorry, Keith.
Okay, no, that's all right, that's good. Thanks for the update then.
He was late yesterday. Yeah, and actually talking about Calvin Hogan, yeah, he pulled out of that second race, if you remember, and
he had some problems.
That was just some carburation there.
Yeah, yep.
Nothing too serious.
No, just one of those things. It's an old bike that he's basically cobbled together to get it out there running, so all good on him to be out playing, that's for sure. So, yeah, good friendly paddock there. Everybody helping around and getting him back on the grid, as is ever the way with the YPM. It's a very close-knit field, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah, it is. Everybody looks after each other, certainly in the paddock. Maybe not so much on track. But, we do like to run into some sort of, good form.
Right.
Hard but fair racing,
Well, hard but fair it is on the track at the moment as David Ball and Kev Woolley go side by side into Paddock Hill Bend. Those two separated by less than a tenth of a second across the line there. It's McRae, that's going to be Luke on your bike, of course, doing the business. Hayden Smith, who is out there on Dougie Edmondson's spare bike, I believe, this weekend. And I think Paul Whitney's already offered him his bike for Alton Park as well. So
yeah, that's right.
That could be interesting as well. Let's see if the youngster, because obviously we know that Hayden knows how to pedal a competitive two-stroke very well indeed. He proved that in the Open 500 with his KR1S, taking a win in the second place in that class so far. As Mr. Woolley now desperately tries to keep Mr. Ball behind him. Mr. Ball going for a slightly different line, and behind him McRae going for an even higher line. These three are working the slipstream very nicely indeed. I think the advantage is going to be for David Ball coming off this towards the line here, but Woolley going tight to the wall, doesn't leave much of a gap, but David Ball still finds one, challenges into Paddock Hill Bend, and no, gets his nose chopped off by Woolley. These two just a little bit quicker that time than McRae behind them, and also Smith. And Damien Lee makes up a couple of places, going past with Nick Smith and Richard Hayward.
It's got Martin Pearson returning back to the paddock, unfortunately, Keith. He came down pit lane and he's going back to the paddock. Oh, yellow flag's down there at Paddock Hill Bend, and it looks like somebody rejoining halfway up towards Druid. So
somebody's going to drop a whole lot of spots there,
yeah,
aren't they?
Who would have thought a TZR 250 would be an enduro bike for the gravel trap down there?
Yeah, that's what the TDR was for.
Well, we all remember that time when George Watson's bike went into the kitty litter at Paddock, and he just stepped off the bike because it remained upright. The stones are so deep there.
Yeah, really. We saw that yesterday with somebody actually. I think the bike stayed upright, they stepped off, and literally up to the axles. It is very deep there, isn't it?
Yeah, I respect to the marshals at the bottom of Paddock, because I've worked on that corner before, and it's like, do not crash here. It's a long way out to drag it back in and then drag it back out. So huge respect to them.
Huge respect to all our marshals, and we're joined by our Chief Marshal, Karen Higgins. Karen, how's the numbers on the marshals this weekend? Looking good?
Very good indeed. As always here, we do very well at Rantac. Well over the 80s towards the 90s. So all good.
80s and 90s. Blimey, I know clubs that struggle to get that many marshals for their year's meetings, let alone one meeting. So no, thanks again as ever to everybody in Orange. You really do appreciate your help, and no doubt in the next round at Alton Park you'll be some of our northern marshals joining us as well, because the guys and girls at Alton Park are always very keen to join us, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. We were very lucky. You make your own luck, don't you? We do look after them, and we appreciate the marshals enormously. So yeah, we've got a good northern base of marshals. Could always do with a few more, but actually we're all right.
Well, if you want to get involved, get in touch with Karen, and she'll have a word with the officer. I'll put you in touch with Karen and say you've got to be over 16 and ready to work, basically. Male, female, we don't care who you are, what you look like, how many arms or legs you've got. If you want to get involved, there's always room for another person. Out on track, there's barely any room between Paul and Woolley. 0.3 of a second, as big a gap as we've seen between them as they trip the timing beam over the back there as they make their way through the twisty bits round to clearways and off the Clark curve.
I think Pete and I spotted the same thing down here at
Yeah.
Graham Hill Bend. That was Luke McRae just running onto the green and running it all the way.
Yeah, he used the whole lot of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's trying to keep hold of these two. David Ball's doing a great job of sticking with Kev Woolley in this one. I think he switched to super courses today that he's been used to. I think yesterday was on the Dunlops, which is what Luke is on.
Yeah.
So actually, David's just gone past Kev, and Kev's going to make the move on the inside into Druid and makes it stick.
All good stuff. The other thing that you've some people have been running in this pick class, the King tyres as well. Are they being used by many people at all?
I don't know too much about them, but I think Tom Ridley has got them on. And I know Alan Wood was here on a test day early on in the month and tried them. And perhaps Mark Bailey might have them as well.
Okay, because it's a new budget option to the class, and obviously we have had controlled tyres within the YPMs in the past as well, just in an effort to try and keep costs down a little bit, because motorcycle racing, as we all know, is expensive. You can shave a bit off on tyres. It definitely helped. 53.478, your fastest lap of the race so far. That is by David Ball in second place there. Now becomes a 53.440 as Kev Woolley reasserts himself in the lead, but only a tenth of a second between the two. And Ball's got some drive off a paddock, goes straight past on Woolley on the brakes to Druid, and no answer at all is the reply from Mr. Woolley. However, we've got another 4 laps left in this race, and now Kev replies down into Graham Hill. This could work nicely for McRae, who's just dropping off the pace a little bit. He lost about 4 tenths last time round, and so he needs these two to start arguing just a little bit, so he can put himself back into a place where he can pick up a bit of a toe. He's got a good advantage though over Hayden Smith there in 4th place. Paul Neal having a good battle with Hayden actually. The clubman is only 3/10 of a second behind Hayden, so that's very good stuff. Ridley a little bit lonely there in the 6th ahead of Damien Lee, who's just gone past on Nick Smith, Hayden's dad. Richard Hayward there, the sometimes CB 500 runner, running in 10th, with Calvin Hogan rounding out your top 10, so Hayward's in 9th. Woolley, Paul McRae over the line, separated by 1.35 seconds now, and it is still advantage Woolley, but again only by a tenth of a second. Back markers again might have a role to play, because they're coming down the hill towards lots of back markers once again, and I think Kev's just going to get held up just a little bit. This could give David an advantage. He'll be able to go down the inside of the back marker as the leader goes round the outside. No, doesn't see any great changes there. Up to clearways. This is where a good rider can make a difference. Ball's going to go high. Woolley's going to go tight. So Woolley down the inside. That forces the back marker out. That compromises Ball's exit. Woolley down the inside of the next back marker. Yeah, he's broken him now, I think. They're going to be very, very close indeed to settling this matter. They come across the line. 8 laps left. They're on the penultimate lap now. 3/10 is the gap. McRae unfortunately lost out very badly in the back marker shuffle. He's now dropped a couple of seconds back, so his hopes of getting a higher podium finish than the 3rd place that he's in at the moment pretty much gone out the window unless something happens to one of the leaders. But the experience of these two, very difficult to see them making a mistake, isn't it, Bradley?
Certainly is. They've got, like you said, they're over 2 second advantage over Luke McRae. First the clubman's Paul Neal in a fight with Hayden Smith, but we are on the penultimate lap. In fact, when they come around to complete this lap, they are heading in towards Surtees now. We will be starting the final lap, and again another back marker coming into play here for Kev Woolley, who will get there first and goes up the inside as they go in towards clearways. Both riders are through now, so Kev Woolley and David Ball through. Purple in sector number 1 for the number 8 machine of David Ball, and is a little bit, is he close enough to get in the slipstream? I think maybe, but not close enough to make a challenge into Paddock Hill Bend. But it's the fastest lap of the race again for David Ball, 52.983 through Paddock, through the dip and heading towards Druids. It's going to be a tall order here, isn't it, Pete, for Dave Ball to get onto the rear wheel, especially with yellow flags up there at Druids.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. And, we know the experience. I'm glad you made that move as early as he did, because often he likes to leave it to the last lap and really learn what's going on with the rider ahead, but he's taking control of it, and it looks like he's going to make this one stick as well. And there's Luke holding a good third place there. I think he's, 3 or 4 seconds ahead of, 5 seconds ahead of Hayden on the Dougie Edmondson machine. So it's another good result for Luke on his number 5, my number 7 bike.
Speaking of Hayden Smith, it looks like his dad Nick Smith is dropping down the timing order here, unfortunately, as we keep an eye out for our race leaders. Kev Woolley across the line takes yet another victory in the YPM class by 0.6 of a second over David Ball. So it's a pretty much repeat performance from yesterday's second race for the leading two. Kev Woolley, David Ball and Luke McRae rounding out the podium yet again on that number 5 machine. Hayden Smith and Paul Neal in inside the top 5 overall. First of the Clubmans, yet again for the number 34 rider.
Do we know if Kev's doing the whole season, or is this just he's just making one of his sporadic appearances?
No, I think the plan is for Kev to do the whole season at bar one round where he's off to Bali, I believe.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's all good. Right. Just while they make their way back around then, over the line, the last of the runners and riders in this race, I need to say a big happy birthday and a big thank you to Norman Lowes. Norman, you may well remember him as being one of our people in black for many, many years. Tomorrow, Norman celebrates his 86th birthday.